there. So, welcome to the broadcast, guys. I am Legion 170, and I will be broadcasting you this RD2L Season 4 scrimmage between MR40 and MBI, apparently is their name. They told me earlier it was DD420, or not really told me, I just saw it off there. So, apparently the name on the stream will in fact be wrong. I will have to correct that after we end up and as I upload the VODs. So as we jump into the draft here, we have Much Rush 40 and Murder Bros Inc. here for this Season 4 RD2L Scrim. Normally, I am joined by co-casters, but I'm a solo tonight. So as we get into the draft here, I'm going to say I don't know much about either of these teams, even though I have seen Tango Wango last season in the playoffs, and Fiery Snake was in my division, so some familiar faces. And the Ember Spirit gets banned first. Not a huge surprise. Ember Spirit has been a really popular pick as of late. He provides a lot of really good damage. He is susceptible to a little bit of burst, but you put him in the mid lane where he can get a little bit of early farm and get something like an early drum, and he can really cause problems for a team. Weaver is the follow-up ban. You don't see Weaver banned a ton in the professional scene, but I always think it's a good ban in the pub / RD2L scene to get rid of the Weaver. He's such a pain in the ass to really lock down and kill, and he can really cause havoc in that off lane and really cause problems for your tri lanes, your dual lanes, whatever the case may be. Your farming lanes, he can be really troublesome and really aggressive.
Reserve time.
So dipping into the reserve time here, and we have a Mirana ban, which is reaching back a little bit. Haven't seen a ton of Mirana in recent weeks. The Moonlight Shadow still just, I mean, her ultimate is such great setup with that arrow. You can really do some good things with teams fight. So Murder Bros looking to get rid of some team fight with the Ember Spirit and the Mirana bans. Much Rush kind of doing a little bit of the same, getting rid of that high aggression, really good controlling offlaner pick in the Weaver. And again, we're going to dip into a little bit of the reserve time here for Much Rush. And they ban out Invoker, another hero that I don't think you can ever ban enough. He can do so many different things with you, and honestly, that with all the directions he can go and Quaswex and everything else, it's better to see him in that ban column than to see him against you. So Murder Bros with the first pick, now that the ban phase is completed.
Ten seconds to go.
Fiery Snake taking his time with this
5 seconds.
He picks up the Visage. So just like in yesterday's game, we have a first pick Visage coming out, and I think the same points that we talked about in that cast really remain. Visage is a great support hero. He can do a lot of things really well. In the early game, he deals a lot of really good burst damage. He's got that slow, and then once you can get those familiars up, he can do a lot of things with pushing, and he's just an all-around great team fight / control hero, with being able to drop those stuns, do the soul assumption, the slows, and things like that. If you know how to play the Visage, then he can really dominate a game and dominate team fights, and just a great pick overall.
10 seconds to go.
Followed that, Much Rush picks up the Timber Saw and the Ancient Apparition back-to-back here, so kind of an interesting first two picks from Much Rush. It must be some kind of pocket strat that they have, because although these are both really great heroes, you don't see a lot of them in the first pick, at least the Timber Saw anymore. You don't see him a ton in that first pick slot, though he is a really powerful offlaner, much like the Weaver. A lot of good nuking damage, can tank things really, really well, and he can provide a lot of problems for an opposing team's safe lane. Ancient Apparition, global presence is the name of the game in 6.79 and 6.8. Controlling the map, doing a lot of good things in the early game, and that Ancient Apparition is just a really big controller for the entire map. Doom comes out from Murder Bros Inc., and Doom is a hero that I really feel is underrated. I know I see him quite a bit now in the pro scene, but you see him mostly played as support, and I think that's kind of a mistake. I think that Doom provides a lot of really good damage, and if you can get items on him that will enhance that damage, he can really add a lot to your team fight potential. He's also a really good counter to the Timbersaw and the Ancient Apparition, silencing both of those heroes, not letting Timbersaw Timber Chain away, not letting throw the Chakram out or pull the Chakram back in, as it were, and keeping that Ancient Apparition from throwing the ultimate everywhere. So the Luna ban now for Murder Bros. Again, another one of those heroes that in this current meta, you really either have to pick Luna or Banner. She's so powerful in all phases of the game that if you're not going to have her on your team, you just don't want her anywhere close to your team. She can push fairly well in the early game. She provides a good farm. In the late game, she really steamrolls things. And that mid game, great team fight potential. Really all you need on her is BKB, and in the mid game, Luna is a viable hero for any kind of team fight. And then that's going to allow you to build into other items for the late game, like a butterfly, like Satanic or Manta, or whatever the case may be. Lion Band now for Much Rush 40, a great support hero, multiple stuns, that burst damage from the ultimate, becoming a little bit more popular, but still not so much that I see him banned a lot. Followed by Rubik, so now the support bans are starting to come out. I definitely understand why they don't want Rubik on the field. You don't want him stealing your Visage Birds. You don't want him stealing Doom or things like that.
To go.
So a good ban coming out there as Much Rush starts to dip towards their bonus time once again.
Reserve time.
So far, this has been actually a pretty quick draft. Neither team taking a ton of bonus time. And the Nyx Assassin ban comes out, so again, another player that can be played in that support role or in the off lane, however you prefer it, followed by a Vengeful Spirit. This is probably going to be a support Vengeful Spirit. At least I would imagine it's going to be support. You never know, though. In this current meta, you see sometimes supports like Necrolite and Vengeful Spirit and even Queen of Pain playing in those carry roles. Dazzle is the pickup now for Murder Bros. Inc. He's finally starting to get his due, I think, in both the professional and in the casual, or I guess not casual, the RD2L or the pub scene. Dazzle, a really strong ultimate, being able to get all that negative armor, or positive armor as it were, onto heroes. Shallow Grave, always a great ability, and that wave, just hugely important. And also, actually, more underrated, I think, is that Poison Touch. Being able to get that slow early in the game, and then getting that level 4 with the stun on it is really an underrated skill, in my opinion. Oh, and so Much Rush 40, much to their name, they're going to pick up probably the best pushing hero right now, currently in the game, and that is the Lycan. This guy, it hits 20 minutes, and you could just say goodbye to all your outer towers. With his ability to get that quick Roshan and get the quick Aegis, and to quickly pull up the Necro Book, he has a lot of ways to really screw with the team, and the best one is just to push right over the top of everything. Slaughter is the pick now coming out, so a lot of minus armor. Must be a minus armor strat coming out here from Murder Brothers. You've got the Dazzle minus armor, you've got now the Slaughter ultimate as well, adding minus armor, and if you get an Assault Cuirass on a hero like Doom, who's going to be able to farm it up relatively soon, you've got even more minus armor there. And that Assault Cuirass is really going to help multiple heroes on that team. The Visage and the Visage Birds will really benefit from an Assault Cuirass, the Doom as well, obviously, and then Slaughter with his ability to proc those bashes is going to be really important.
To go.
With their last ban, Much Rush 40 takes out the Slark, which is an interesting pick there to me. I mean, Murder Bros definitely needs some kind of an off-lane hero, but I don't know that would be the one to pick up. It might be a little bit greedy with their lineup right now. They really do need a hero that can provide a lot of damage. One thing they could do is they could try to dual lane this and send the Dazzle and the Slaughter out together. They're a pretty good team. And that does appear to be what they're going to be with the Pudge here, unless they're going to send the Doom off lane. I would imagine that the Slaughter and the Dazzle will head that way. And Shadow Fiend, the last pickup from Much Rush, another great pushing hero that's going to provide a lot of good damage for his team. So, interesting lineups on both sides. I'm a little confused as to what Murder Bros is going to do with their lanes here, with Ellen Pudge on the Pudge. I'm assuming that big ol' Pudge will be heading towards the mid lane, with the Visage and the Doom heading towards the top. But originally I thought that maybe this was going to be a jungle Doom, but now with Light on the Doom, I wonder if he's going to be heading up towards that easy lane farm. So now we'll go ahead and introduce the teams, starting with the Dire. We've got Fiery Snake playing the Slaughter, Macklemore, #1 fan, playing the Dazzle, Light on the Doom, T-Swift X, I'm just going to call him Swift, on the Visage, Ellen Pudge on the Pudge. Moving down here towards the Radiant, we got Tango Wango playing the Lycan, Praxis playing the Vengeful Spirit, Xylem playing the Ancient Apparition, Game of Throws on the Shadow Fiend, Game of Throws, who we saw last night playing in that other scrim, and Neo Nend playing the Timbersaw. So Ancient Apparition is going to head up towards this top lane and throw a ward down, I'm assuming somewhere in here, all by himself. Meanwhile, the Dire team is going to send a tri-lane towards this off lane, so it appears that it's going to be a solo Doom in that safe lane. They're just going to let Doom go up against the Timbersaw, and maybe not a terrible choice. Timbersaw is going to be able to, if he gets close enough, do some pretty decent damage, but the Doom should be able to control the lane well enough to not allow that to really happen. So Praxis and Tango Wango kind of having a little bit of a standoff at the rune here with Fiery Snake and Macklemore. And Macklemore and Fire Snake got to get separated out, and Macklemore's going to have to run away. So if this rune does spawn down here, then it will be the Radiance, and it is going to be a haste rune. So who's going to pick this up? Looks like Tango Wango is going to pick up the haste. Maybe a little early, and maybe not the best selection to really get that. I guess he's going to try and hustle down here and block. It's going to be super hard, though, to block with. Yeah, he kind of missed the waves. It's going to be so hard to block anything with that haste rune. You know, I think really should have probably saved that for the Vengeful Spirit and seen if maybe you could get kind of a wraparound coming around here. You know, hasted up that far. They're not going to be able to do much of anything to her, so she could have probably snuck in there and at least got a good pot shot or two in. So T-Swift. Oh yeah, I'm going to call that Swift.
No way.
Well, Swift anyway. Going to throw some harassment on Tango Wango. Really freeing things up for Fire Snake here. And Macklemore's going to take the stun and some harass damage, but then Fire Snake hits 3 with the crush and just kind of stops the Radiant in their track. MR40 not going to be able to do a ton. Praxis taking a lot of damage here. Going to have to probably back up and maybe even pot up already. So a good little exchange there for the Dire. Meanwhile, up top here, you know, Light and Neo Nend are going at it, and actually, you know, Light's doing probably getting the best of it, but not by a ton. But he is getting the best of their exchanges so far. Though he did allow these 2 range creeps to get up here, and there's going to be a third one coming up. So not controlling the lane as well as he could. It's going to push here pretty hard, and that's going to definitely work in Neo Nend's favor. And yeah, he's able to throw out the Whirling Death there and really get Light into a bad position. And Light's taking a ton of damage. If he's not careful, he can be First Blood. Oh, and no, it's going to actually be Pudge in the mid lane killing off the Shadow Fiend. So not really expecting that, as there hadn't been a whole lot of action there, and kind of overlooked that a little bit. Game of Throws is going to TP back in. Sitting with the Wraith Band. Pudge, not a whole lot of health going on, but does have enough mana for a hook. I don't know that she's really going to want to do that, and actually picks up the bottle now. So First Blood allows Pudge to get the bottle, and there's an Invis Rune bottom if he wants to go find it. So Light is kind of retreating a little bit, finding his way into the jungle, looking for the Satyr, and having that extra health regen is really going to help him out, especially against that the harass damage from the Whirling Death. And in the meantime, maybe hoping that Neo Nend is going to push out that lane a little bit. Meanwhile, at bottom, there's a lot of exchanges going on here, but nothing really too dire to keep an eye on. Fire Snake taking some decent portions of harass damage, but both teams really kind of doing a good job of controlling this lane and keeping it in the middle there, kind of keeping it in neutral territory. Both teams are trying to keep it back towards their tower, and they're both kind of counteracting each other with that ability to pull the lane. And now Light's in a lot of trouble. He takes a Whirling Death and a hook shot. No, it misses. And so he's got 100 health, and he's going to just Scorched Earth and kind of run away, and then turn back around with that extra. Oh no, and Light takes another Whirling Death. I don't know why he went back in there. And I know he did get the extra regen from the Scorched Earth and from the Satyr, but in the meantime, I'd miss another kill. So not a good night for me on the solos here. It's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more difficult without the codecasters to point things out a little bit. So Swift able to pick up a kill on the Ancient Apparition. So it has been highly aggressive actually so far in the bottom lane here, and Light is actually kind of, I've been fixating on Light because I thought that he was going to get killed a couple times there, but able to sneak away basically both times. So Fire Snake sitting at a decent amount of farm here, sitting at 11 and 3, and now the supports are going to smoke away. And the Haste Rune does spawn bottom, but they don't get it. It pings out by Macklemore, and Swift is just going to head around, and they're going to not look for the back because apparently I missed another kill. Oh my god, this has not been a good night for me so far. And Dazzle's hasted up, and he's heading towards this mid lane. Know what he's gonna do. The smoke does wear out. Oh, he's waiting for Pudge. They're gonna go on Game of Throws here. And coming around the back here, he does go on Game of Throws, throws out the Poison Touch. The hook does not hit Game of Throws, instead hits a creep, and now Macklemore's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to run away here, and creep block on Game of Throws are going to keep him from doing anything. And Praxis throws out the Stun on Fire Snake. Howl comes out from Tango Wango, as well as from the Vengeful Spirit, and Fire Snake's going to have to sprint away, throws out a potion, just to make sure things stay the same. Now, I understand, why they kind of went after the Slardar, because they were afraid of getting crushed, but in that instance, he's definitely going to have that sprint available, so going onto Swift would have been a much better choice, I feel. And Crush misses on Xylem as Macklemore starts to head back in, and Radiant going to throw the Wolves onto Fiery Snake a little bit, and they're not going to really do a whole lot. Pings come out on Tango Wango, the slow comes out. Fire Snakes comes in, he's cold snapped, and he's going to throw the crush and hits all three! Wow, nice crush there from Fire Snake. They are able to take down the Xylem. Fire Snake will fall. Macklemore picks up a double kill now, and he's in a little bit of trouble as well. Swift, trailing behind, does not have the mana to do much. Wolves are chasing after Macklemore, but Tango Wango's not going to be able to do anything about it. So they do lose 2 support heroes, but they get the carry for MBI on it. So a pretty decent trade, actually. And the Game Throws picks up a DD rune, and Pudge turns and runs for the hills, even though I think that if those creeps hadn't have been there, Pudge would have had a good line for a hook there and would have been in good position to try to get a kill. So in the meantime, Light is going Midas, so being a little bit greedy here, potentially. I guess it is a 6-minute Midas, so good timing on that Midas. It's just, he has been taking a lot of damage. But down here in this bottom lane, Fire Snake's being aggressive again. He picks up 2 with the Crush. Poison goes on to Praxis. Fire Snake taking a ton of damage, but the Soul Assumption's going to clean up Ancient Apparition. And now Swift is taking a lot of damage as well. Neonend is down here to throw out the Chakram, but he doesn't have any more mana, so the Radiant's just going to chase the Dire back away. So MBI able to pick up some really good kills here down in this bottom lane, being really aggressive with the Poison Touch, the Soul Assumption, and the Crushes from Fiery Snake. Pudge, actually, we have not seen a whole lot of Pudge moving around. I mean, he is 2-1. He's got 21 CS, so pretty decent for a Pudge. But you might like to see this guy moving around a little bit more to try to help out his team. And he's going to pick up a smoke here, so that is also what he's thinking. So he's going to be looking for some movement as well. And the Midas is up on the Doom and already 800 gold, so maybe not quite as greedy as I thought. With being so early in the game and actually being on the top of the CS chart now, giving total free farm by this Timbersaw. Doom's going to have a lot of space to really farm and get those carry items that I was talking
Dyer's
about.
bottom tower
Praxis
is
going to take some damage
siege.
from the tower here, not
Dyer
clicking
has
on those creeps
fortified
to
its
get it
structures.
de-aggroed from him. But it does take a pretty decent chunk of damage. Now Tingawango's crushed, and he's in a little bit of trouble. Cold Feet comes out on Fire Snake. The Howl misses. Wave of Terror misses. And the supports for the Dire team are now smoked up and heading towards mid. So Game of Thrones is in a lot of trouble here. He doesn't realize it yet, but now he does. He's slowed up by the Visage. Macklemore throws out the poison over his own, and the hook hits Macklemore. Soul Assumption comes out and does hit Game of Thrones, but Macklemore's in a lot of trouble. He throws out his Shallow Grave, and Pudge is able to pick up the kill. A heal for Macklemore, but no, the tower's going to pick him up anyway. So unfortunate there for Macklemore that Pudge hook hit him and pulled him right into the range of the tower. Fire Snake sees Xylem. He jukes the Crush and now hits the Crush. He is cold-feeted, and he's going to get frozen. Pudge now, close range hook. Yep, he's going to pick it up. No ult required. Wave of Terror comes out there to scout things out, but nothing's going to happen. Up top, Light is getting dove on a little bit by Neonend, who throws his hook shot to get away, and that's not what it's called, is it? Timber Chain. There we go. He's not Clockwork. Tingawango getting a little bit of farm here, but the Dire knows it. They have a ward that spots him out, and Ellen Pudge is going to be heading for him. Knows probably that the wolves are somewhere around, but Tingawango, what is he doing? He's just running into more creeps, and he gets Centaur stomped. Really unfortunate there that he gets Centaur stomped, but he throws out the ultimate, and behind the Vengeful Spirit, what was she doing? Why was she back here? She knew that the Lycan was running away. What happened there? I am confused. Radiant with the ult up now pushes the Dire out of the jungle, and again Tingawango gets Centaur stomped. So the first time I thought something really unfortunate. I kept the camera there, you know, even though I saw Vengeful was kind of going up behind. I kept the camera there because I thought that that Centaur stomp was going to set up a Pudge ult, but it didn't materialize that way, and so I missed another kill. So Game of Thrones, you know, 48 and 10, but not really a ton to show for. Oh my God! And Fiery Snake, these guys are just being super aggressive down here. Every time I try to look away to look at items or something, a kill happens. And Fire Snake, he's chasing after Silent. He gets another crush. Grave comes out on him on heal, and yeah, double kill from Fire Snake. So things going really, really well for MBI. Not so well for the MR40, who really their lineup was built to get some early aggression and push, but felt that in that early game they got outdone, and Pudge picks up yet another kill on the Shadow Fiend. So Game of Thrones having a hard time of it, and just as I'm having a hard time, Swift is able to clean up a kill there with the familiars. Meanwhile, Light is in a lot of trouble, and the Timber Chain goes out and it misses. So Chockham will come out, slows Light, pulls him in range. The Timber Chain comes out, Whirling Death, and Light is going to maybe not die. Wow. Oh, a little bit of a misplay there from Neonend. He definitely had a kill and missed a couple Timber Chains, missed a Chakram at the end there, and he's in a lot of trouble now. Hook comes out and the Pudge ultimate, and Pudge just picks up an unstoppable streak here. So really well done there by the Dire, but Neonend a little bit too aggressive possibly after not being able to get that kill. And bottom here, Fire Snake's going to pick up. No, Macklemore's going to take the tower kill there. So our first tower of the match is crazy. 17 kills in 12 minutes. I think I've caught about half of them. And only one tower down. Fire Snake, he's sprinting in here. Nope, he's going to get stunned by Praxis. He kind of wanted to go in there, but realized kind of at the last second that he had no help anywhere around him. Visage Bird is sitting here scouting things out. It is pinged. Looks like the Radiant saw it, but potentially not. Tingawango gonna head into the jungle. He does have his Vladimir's offering and his Medallion of Courage, so could look to try to get Roshan if they can get some map control. But that has been something that has not been very in supply for the Radiant currently. And Pudge is invisible. Oh, they see him though. Sentry Ward comes out and stun and Wave of Terror. Cold Feet, though, he's graved and just walks away. Macklemore, though, is going to pay the price for Pudge's not really mistake. He couldn't have known that
Radiant's
they were
top
going to
tower
be able
is
to see
under
him.
siege.
But Macklemore pays for the little bit of unfortunate circumstances, and now he's invisible again, and he throws down another sentry. Asylum just money with these sentry wards right now. Hook comes out, hits nothing. Pinks come out for Game of Throws, and Game of Throws could be in a lot of trouble. He's slowed up by the Visage. The Visitors are going to come in. Light is also coming. Doom's up. Game of Throws. Game of Throws going to throw some attacks at the Light and does a lot of damage, and he actually picks up a return kill there. So T-Swift gets a dominating streak, but the Doom there, who up to that point has had basically total free farm, is kind of picked off there. Light getting a little too aggressive with low life. I know he's been able to pull it off against Neonend a couple times, but Shadow Fiend's damage is just going to be a lot more different than, or a lot more effective than Timbersaw. Fire Snake picks up another kill here, and Praxis is actually in a lot of trouble as well. The hook comes out, no, hits a creep, and Praxis able to kind of go, oh no, Fire Snake's going to dodge in, and he's going to throw down the crush, throws his ultimate up, and 1, 2, 3 attacks, and he's got a double kill.
You let your guard
Radiant's middle tower is under
MBI
siege.
in complete control of this game right now. And as we have a little bit of a break, oh, and GG is called. So MR40 realizing that they're just falling behind too quickly in a 14-minute GG with only one tower destroyed. So I think that there might have been a little bit of room to maybe let this game go a little farther and see what you could do in the space provided. But MR40 deciding to kind of tap out here and regroup and see what they can do in Game 2. So hopefully we'll be back here in a little bit. I haven't confirmed 100% that we will have a Game 2, but I am definitely hoping so. So this has been an All About Dota cast. I am Legion 170, and I'm still working on my solo camera work. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.